Hello everyone, I'm Mohammed here, and today we're going to solve this problem called top k frequent elements. So let's go through the description here. So they're saying that given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements. You may return the answer in any order. So I think what they're trying to say is that so they're going to give us an array, for example this one, and we have to return k most frequent elements. That means we have to return the elements that occurred twice, hence k is 2 here. So let's see what the frequency is here. Like 1 occurred 3 times in this array, 2 occurred twice, and 3 occurred only once. So as 3 occurred once, so 3 is not in the output, 3 is out of the question. We have 1 and 2 occurred twice, and 1 occurred 3 times. That means both of these elements 1 and 2 occurred at least twice, so that's why they are in the output. So as we can see here that we obviously need to count the frequency of the elements. Let's see how we can do how we can solve this problem. So what we have to do is that we have to loop through the numbers array, and we have to update the frequency of the mapper, and we also have to update another array called buckets according to the current frequency of that number. So maybe if we go through the example, that might make more sense. So yeah, first we have 1, that's the first element of our array. So the frequency of 1 is going to get updated, it's going to be 1, and we have to, like, what we have to do here is that the frequency is now 1, so we're going to go to the index number 1, that is going to represent the frequency of each element. That means and we are going to update this array, which is inside the buckets array. So that means this is going to get updated, this array is going to get updated. We are going to push 1 inside it. So now the array is going to look something like this, and what it means is that the element 1 occurred once in this array. That's what we are trying to get here. So let's go to the next example, next element of our array. So that is also 1. We're going to update the frequency, so frequency is going to be 2 here. So we are going to go to the index number 2 of the buckets array, and we're going to push the number which we currently have. So 1 is going to get pushed inside this array. So now it's going to look something like this. So in index number 2, 1 is going to get pushed. Now let's go to the next, 1. So the next element is also 1, so the frequency of 1 is going to get updated again, and now we are going to go, so the frequency is 3, so we're going to go to the third index of the buckets array, and we're going to push the element 1 inside this array. So yeah, so 1 is going to be inside this, and the current array is going to look something like this. Okay, let's go to the next element, which is 2. So the frequency of 2 is going to get updated. So as the frequency is 2 now, as the frequency is 1 now, so we're going to go to the index number 1, and we're going to push 2, the current element. We're going to push 2 to index number and to the array which is in index number 1. So it's going to be like this. This is going to get updated. Now let's go to the next element, which is also 2. So the frequency of 2 is going to get updated. It's going to be 2. So now we're going to go to the index number 2 of buckets, and we're going to push 2 inside this array. So it's going to be 2. So here let's also update this one. This is just for a visual representation of the buckets array. So yeah, now this is what we have currently. Next, go to the next iteration, which is 3. So the frequency of 3 is going to get updated to 1. So as we have the current frequency is 1, we are going to go to the index number 1, and we are going to push 3, the current element, inside this array. So 1, 2 and 3. Let's see, 3. So after we loop through the entire array, this is the array, this is the buckets array that we are going to get. So now let's see. So the first element of the buckets array, so in the 0 index, as no element occurred 0 times, so this is going to be empty. 1, 2 and 3 occurred at least once, so that's why this array has 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 2 occurred twice, so 1 and 2 is going to be inside this array, and 1 is the only element which occurred 3 times. So this is going to be the buckets array. But what we need to see here is that we have 1 and 2, and these 2 elements occurred at least twice, and the value of k is also 2. So after we loop through the entire array, we are going to return the bucket that has the same length as k. So k is 2, so this array has the same length as k, so we are going to return this array. That's it. So yeah, maybe we can just, okay, let's see if we code it out, maybe things will get much more clearer. I don't know. So first of all, we need to update the frequency, so we are going to need an unordered map. The key is going to be integer type, the value is also going to be integer type. Let's call it freq. Okay, so now we need a vector which will also have vectors inside it, which will have integer inside it. So let's call it buckets, and the size of the bucket is going to be nums dot size plus 1. Okay, for now let's look through the elements and see what we get. Nums num inline, and return a default value for this. Okay, if everything goes well, we should see the elements inside this. It's taking too long. Okay, so yeah, we got the elements. Now we need to update the frequency. So the frequency of number, each number is going to get updated. Let's see if we got the frequency right. Const auto pair pair dot first empty space pair dot second and line. Let's see if we are getting the correct frequency here. This is taking too long. Okay, yeah, we are getting the correct frequency. 3 occurred once, 2 occurred twice, and 1 occurred 3 times. So yeah, now we have to update the buckets. So buckets of frequency of number. So we have to update the index of that frequency with the current number. So yeah, now let's see if we have buckets. Okay, these are arrays, so int num of buckets, let's see, number, let's put some space, and if we get the right, okay, what is wrong here? So int num, so this is going to be bucket. Okay, let's see if we get the current array, like correct array. Yeah, so we're getting 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 1, which is exactly what we wanted. So now all we have to do is return the array which has the same length as k. So we don't need all of this. So if bucket dot length equal k, return bucket. Let's see. So okay, it's not going to be length, it's going to be size. Okay, and if we submit this, it should probably work. Yep. So this was the solution for C++. Let's do it for Python. So we're going to implement the same solution here. So let's get the frequency and the buckets and give them default values, default int, and this is going to be length of nums plus 1. Let's see if we have the right buckets. Let's print the buckets and see if we have the correct default value here. My Python is a little rusty, so I'm just making sure if it's working properly. Okay, let's look through the elements for what was it, for num in nums. print num. Let's see if this works. If this works, we're going to update the frequency and the buckets. Yeah, so update the frequency of num plus equals 1, and also update the buckets while we are at it. Buckets of frequency of num dot append with current number. Let's see if we are getting the correct values in the bucket. Yeah, 1 2 3 1 2 and 1. So now all we have to do is return the bucket for bucket in buckets if bucket dot length of bucket equals k, return that bucket. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's submit this one. Okay, so this is working. Let's do this for Ruby this time. Okay, so same solution, get frequency hash dot new, default value is going to be 0, buckets is going to be let's not give default value to this one, just empty array. Let's see if we can like minimize the space. I mean obviously it doesn't matter that much, but still. Okay, so nums dot each do num, and let's print num. So if everything is correct, yeah, we're getting the numbers. So we're going to update the frequency. So frequency of numbers plus equals 1. Also update the buckets of frequency of num is going to be, so now we don't have default arrays inside buckets. So let's say if we don't have array for this frequency, we're going to make it an array and push num inside that array. And if we have an array for this frequency, then we're going to push num inside this one. Hope this makes sense. Okay, now let's print buckets. Okay, we're getting the right output here. So now all we have to do is that we have to return buckets dot each. So as we can see that first value is nil, so if we want to see the size of this one, it's going to give us an error. So we have to like remove this from the buckets. So bucket dot compact dot each do. So what compact is going to do is that, like, let's print it out, bucket dot compact. So it's going to like remove the nil from, okay, buckets. Let's see, yeah, it just removes the nil value. So buckets dot compact dot each do bucket bucket, so return the bucket if bucket dot length is equals to k. What if we do something like this? Would that work? So return buckets of k minus 1. So if k is 2, no, it's going to be in index 2, so would that work? No, that's not going to work, because one, 2 and 3. What is k here? K is 2. And what is buckets? So buckets, so 0, 1, 2. So buckets of 2. What would that do? Okay, it works for this one, but here k is 1, so, and we have only 1. Why is it nil? So nil. So what is going to be in, what is it? So 0, 1. So the output should be expected 1. We have 1 here, 0, 1. Oh, so this one should also work. What about this one? K is 2. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so no, that won't work, because what is the output here? 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 is here. That means we have to return this one. So no, it's not going to work like that. We have to return buckets dot compact dot each do bucket and so we have to return the bucket which has if bucket dot length is equal to k. So this should work. Okay, now we'll submit this one. Okay, this got accepted. Now let's do the same thing for JavaScript. So the same thing, let frequency is equals to hash and buckets equals to empty array for nums console.log num, which is going to give us all the elements. Yeah, so update the frequency of num is going to be frequency of num or 0 plus 1. So what this is going to do is that if we have frequency for a number, then it's going to update that, and if we don't have any frequency for that number, like this number occurred for the first time, then it's going to just be 1. So 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. Okay, now update the buckets buckets of frequency of 1, I mean frequency of that current number is going to be like, if we don't have, like same as this one, if we don't have default, I mean if we don't have any array for this particular index, then we are going to add array here and then push that current number. So let's see if we have console.log buckets. So we probably should have the correct, yeah. So first element is going to be empty because no like number occurred 0 times. So we're going to just, yeah, we're just going to ignore this one. So for bucket of buckets, we don't need this. If bucket has length, if bucket has length and that length is equals to k, return bucket. So yeah, this should work. Accept. Let's submit this one. Yeah, it got accepted. So yeah, this was a solution for top k frequent elements. So yeah, if you guys liked it or didn't like it, let me know, and yeah, let me know which solution you found interesting, and like if anything could have been better. Yeah, just like have a conversation with me. Anyways, thank you very much. That was it for today. Hopefully I will see you with another problem solving video, maybe, I don't know when, sometimes in the future. Thank you.